Hi everyone, welcome back to Believers IAS Academy, Bengaluru. This is everyday news analysis session, and in today's session, we are going to look into some 6 to 7 important articles from various newspapers that are important from UPSC prelims, mains, as well as your interview preparation. And people who are preparing for interview can also listen to the class and have some opinions on it. Okay, so the first article is mainly related to UPSC prelims. It is about jungly fowl or forest chicken or jungle chicken, something like that. It is in news because of some trivial matter. That is, recently there was a controversy regarding the alleged consumption of jungly murga or jungly fowl or grey jungly fowl by Chief Minister of Himachal Pradesh. Okay, there was a photo. He visited a part of Himachal Pradesh. Okay, he visited a part of Himachal Pradesh. There he was offered something and he ate it. After that, there was a photo surfaced that in that menu there was a menu called as jungli murga. So he ate jungli murga, which is a protected animal. So it was a controversy. And then the Himachal Pradesh Prime Minister said that, a chief minister said that, I'm going to file a case of defamation against the opposition party because they are doing like these and these silly things on. Okay, that is not important for us. Why it is in news is not important, but the static part of this, that is red jungle fowl, that is very important. That is also called as Gallus gallus. Okay, that is scientific name. This is the red chili fowl. So red jungle fowl is a tropical pheasant species and the wild ancestor of domestic chicken, making it vital for understanding the aviation domestication. Okay, so if you see it from the far, it is very difficult to distinguish between the normal chicken. Okay, see, it is almost similar to chicken, but there are some distinct features. Okay, its location, it is native to India, Indochina, Malaysia, and the surrounding regions. IUCN status, it is the least concerned because their habitat or their population is not in the crisis, so it is least concern. So reasons wildlife distribution is, it is found across a large geographical range. We discussed this. Staple population declines are not rapid enough to meet the criteria for vulnerability. That is why it is not included in vulnerability criteria. Instead, it is included in least concern. Habitat is ecosystems or diverse habitats like primeval forest, dry scrublands, and secondary growth woodlands. You will find these fall in all these habitats. Then, despite being listed as least concern in the IUCN Red List, the species faces threat from habitat loss and hybridization with the domestic chickens. This is very important. In order to get more protein or in order to get more meat out of the domestic chicken, they are being hybridized with the domestic chicken. When you keep hybridizing the domestic chicken with this jungly fowl, in over the time, what it is going to do is, it is going to reduce the genetic variability and it is going to remove the or reduce the number of jungly fowl and increase hybrid chickens. So you are going to lose this indigenous species. Okay, threat is, we discussed already, hybridization, feral domestic chickens and intermediate subspecies threaten the genetic purity of wild population. So this genetic purity is very important to maintain the pure species. And there is also insufficient education on the importance of preserving pure populations of red jungly fowl. About grey jungly fowl, there is grey jungly fowl also, that is Gallus sonorati, that is also called as red jungle fowl. It is related to red jungle fowl. So males are grayish with gold markings on the wings, whitish spotting around the neck, a long glossy black tail, pinkish feet, red combo, and wattles are smaller than the widespread red jungle fowl. Okay, not very important. So females are rather plain, so they lack the long tail, comb and wattle, yellowish legs, and bold white spottings on the underparts, not necessary. So this point is very important. The grayish jungle fowl is endemic to only India, whereas reddish fowl is found in Indochina and Malaysia also. This is listed in Schedule 1 of Wildlife Protection Act, providing it with the highest level of legal protection. Meaning, hunting or consuming this species is a criminal offence punishable under the Act. Okay, many people wanted to arrest the Chief Minister of Himachal Pradesh because it is a protected species and he consumed this protected species. which makes him a criminal. Then that is the news. Okay, very simple news. What we have to understand is red jungly fowl and grey jungly fowl. Whereas red jungly fowl is least concern and it is not much of protection. Whereas grey jungly fowl, it is present in Schedule 1 of Wildlife Protection Act. Then Cyclone Chido. Okay, Cyclone Chido is in news because it recently struck Mayotte. Mayotte is a French Indian Ocean territory, and the Chido speed was up to 200 kilometers per hour, making it the strongest cyclone to hit the region over 90 years. This is very important. Prime Minister of India expressed condolences for the victims and pledged support to relief efforts. Okay, so that is why it becomes very important, because Prime Minister has also tweeted about this Cyclone Chido. Okay, so about Cyclone Chido, the location is, it is impacting Mayotte, which is located in the Mozambique Channel, which is part of Comoros archipelago in the Indian Ocean. Okay, it is not geographically contiguous with France, but it is a French overseas territory. Wind speed of up to 200 kilometers per hour. It is categorized as an extremely severe cyclonic storm based on the Indian Meteorological Department classification. We already discussed this classification in previous cyclone classes. If you want to have detailed discussion or detailed analysis about the cyclone, you can visit topic of the day, Believer Says. You will find the video there. Then about Mayotte. Mayotte, it is consists of two main islands, that is Grande Terre, which is a main island, and then Petit Terre, that is Pamanzadi. Okay, location, it is part of Comoros archipelago, which is situated in the Indian Ocean within the Mozambique Channel. Okay, status is, it is a French overseas territory. So what is cyclone? I am not going to discuss in this class because we already discussed this in detail. Okay, we already discussed this in detail, very detailed. So we'll keep the discussion limited to Cyclone Chido, and then move on to the next topic. The next topic is, there was an editorial in the Hindu, that is crimes against humanity and the obtuse Indian stance. Okay, whenever there is a crimes against humanity, you are like crimes against humanity, why does India take an obtuse stance? Why doesn't India strictly criticize it? Okay, the Varsha Singh, who is the assistant professor at the Nalsa, Jodhpur, Rajasthan, gives certain reasons on this. So about this editorial, there was a landmark resolution, that is on December 4, 2024, the UN General Assembly adopted a resolution to negotiate a treaty for the prevention and punishment of crimes against humanity. Okay, there is a resolution. It marks a critical step in closing gaps in accountability for such crimes under the international law. Okay, many countries throughout the history have carried out crimes against humanity, such as genocide, such as like chemical weapons in Hitler Nazi camps. Okay, all these have been condoned, but they were not held accountable under any international law. So this resolution provides a mechanism so that any actions of the similar sorts can be held accountable. Then accountability gaps in the international law. Crimes against humanity alongside genocide and war crimes are governed by the Rome Statute under the International Crime Court. We have already discussed Rome Statute and International Crime Court in the previous news analysis. You can check it up, and you can have a detailed discussion or detailed analysis of this one. The limitations of this International Court of Justice, International Criminal Court, not the Court of Justice, sorry, and the Rome Statute is ICC jurisdiction applies only to individual criminal responsibility. Okay, and there is no comprehensive treaty addressing the state accountability for failing to prevent crimes against humanity, unlike the Genocide Convention. There is another convention, that is Genocide Convention. It holds the states accountable also. Here the ICC under Rome Statute holds only the individuals accountable. Okay. Crimes against humanity lacks a dedicated international treaty like the Geneva Convention of 1949. So crimes against humanity needs to address all these limitations. There are three conventions. One is Genocide Convention, another is Geneva Conventions on War Crimes. Next, what is the need for a dedicated crimes against humanity treaty? First and foremost is addressing the ICC limitations, that is restricted to states that are party to the Rome Statute, leaving many non-state members outside its reach. Okay, so since it is a like international law, it should include all the members. It should include all the members. It should look into issues of all the countries in the world. Okay, then creating obligations for the states. A crimes against humanity treaty would establish binding obligations on the states to adopt measures preventing crimes against humanity. Then expanding the scope of crime against humanity. The treaty could include acts such as gender apartheid, nuclear weapons use, terrorism, and crimes against indigenous populations. All these can be included in order to diversify, in order to expand the scope of crimes against humanity. Okay, all these can be considered as crimes against humanity only, so they should also be included under the treaty. So, what is India's stances? What are the India's reservations and what is India's skepticism? It is not a party to the Rome Statute. It consistently opposes the ICC's jurisdiction. India highlights the preference for national courts to address crimes against humanity rather than international court. Then there is opposition to CHTT treaty, argues against the inclusion of terrorism as crimes against humanity, citing concerns about the duplications of existing frameworks. There are other frameworks such as Geneva Convention, etc., etc. So there is no need of inclusion of terrorism in crimes against humanity because there are other resolutions which are already dealing with the terrorism. Then focus on domestic jurisdiction and resist external mechanisms. Whenever there is a issue such related issues, it should be dealt by internal or domestic jurisdiction rather than making it an external issue. Then legislative gaps. India lacks domestic legislation for prosecuting international crimes, which has been flagged by judicial observations. Okay, these are the reasons why India opposes this. And what are the calls for leadership? Okay, there was a call for leadership for India, and other believes that there was a missed opportunity, that India missed opportunity because there are domestic reforms needed. Amendments to the Indian Penal Code should include crimes against humanity, genocide, and war crimes. Then global responsibility, meaning incorporating crimes against humanity laws could strengthen India's role in international justice system even without joining the Rome Statute. Okay, so others says that India should consider rejoining the crimes against humanity, or India should consider changing its penal code so that it can include crimes against humanity, genocide, and war crimes. Okay, if you don't want external influence or external mechanisms to deal with crimes against humanity, then develop an internal mechanism so that crimes against humanity can be addressed thoroughly. Then fourth article is about, from Press Information Bureau, it is about Gandhi Sagar Wildlife Sanctuary, which is a habitat development for cheetahs. It is in news because recently Madhya Pradesh government has proposed the development of Gandhi Sagar Wildlife Sanctuary into a habitat for cheetahs, spanning a landscape of 2,500 square kilometers across Madhya Pradesh and Rajasthan. About Gandhi Sagar Wildlife Sanctuary, it is located in the northwestern Madhya Pradesh along the Madhya Pradesh and Rajasthan border. It lies in Khatiyar Gir dry deciduous forest ecoregion. Okay. Key features are, it is declared as a wildlife sanctuary in 1974, spans an area of 368 square kilometers. Main river is, it is divided by Chambal River, creating two distinct sections. It is recognized as an important bird and biodiversity area also, IBA. This IBA is declared by Birds International, Wetlands International, and Bombay Natural History Society. These three together declare any areas as important birds and biodiversity area like based on the amount of birds or the species that habited houses. Okay, about the topography and vegetation, it features hills, plateaus, and Gandhi Sagar Dam's catchment area. Okay, this Gandhi Sagar Dam catchment area is the reason why it has been declared as a important bird and biodiversity habitat area. Then vegetation types: northern tropical dry deciduous forest, northern tropical dry mixed deciduous forest, and dry deciduous scrub. Principal tree species are khair, salai, kardhai, dadhwa, tendu, palash, etc. etc. And the fauna of sanctuaries: herbivorous are the chinkara, nilgai, and spotted deers. Most of them are deer species. And carnivores are Indian leopard, striped hyena, and jackal. Okay, these carnivores are larger in size compared to cheetah. Though there is no presence of lion or tiger, the Indian leopard, striped hyena, are removing jackal. These are even larger in size compared to cheetah, so care should be taken in this regard. And in the aquatic region or aquatic species, crocodiles, fish, otters, and turtles inhabit Chambal River ecosystem. Okay, so it houses various biodiversity. And what is the cultural historical significance? The sanctuary is home of sites to archaeological and historical importance, such as Chaurasigar and Hinjalgarh Fort. Temples such as Chaturbhujanath Temple and Taksakeshwara Temple. Okay, sorry, like excuse my pronunciation. And there is Bhadkaji rock paintings showcasing ancient arts. So it is not just important from biodiversity; it is also important from historical perspective and archaeological perspective also. And what is the conservation and future prospects? The development of Gandhi Sagar Wildlife Sanctuary as habitat for cheetahs underlines its ecological and conservation value with its diverse flora and fauna and historical richness. Okay, that is it. And then there was an article or editorial in the Hindu, which was an interview between two great individuals, that is PDC Acharya, who is a former General Secretary of Lok Sabha, and M.R. Madhavan, who is the co-founder and president of PRS Legislative Research. Okay, so here there was a debate on should legislature in India have a fixed tenure. We will see what is the key summary of this debate and the discussion. Okay, so here they explore the implications of 129th Amendment Bill 2024. Okay, there is a new amendment bill which proposes a fixed 5-year term for the Lok Sabha and the state legislative assemblies with simultaneous elections. PDT Acharya and M.R. Madhavan discuss the challenges and merits of this proposal. Okay. Do fixed tenures promote better governance? Criticism by PDT Acharya. PDT Acharya says that the skepticism on the cost saving claims. Many people argue that simultaneous election is going to reduce the cost, because cost of one election at the Lok Sabha is around 60,000 crore. So we can reduce this by having simultaneous elections. But he is a criticism or skeptic of these cost saving claims. According to him, argues that cost of conducting frequent elections is exaggerated, as major spending is done by political parties and not the government. Okay, the 60,000 crore claim by the government, okay, according to PDT Acharya, is false, because this 60,000 crore is not spent by the government, rather by the political parties. So this claim is not true. Then about electoral engagement, the frequent elections compel representatives to stay connected with voters and address the issues regularly. He says that instead of simultaneous elections, we should have frequent elections, which is the present norm. It will help the representatives to stay connected and he will be held more accountable compared to simultaneous election. And he opposes simultaneous election because of its impact on federalism. According to him, fixed timelines could undermine the autonomy of the state assemblies by aligning their schedules with Lok Sabha. Then support from M.R. Madhavan. He believes that fixed terms for state assemblies would ensure consistency and stability. He is pro simultaneous elections and pro fixed uh, terms for state assemblies. He acknowledges the practical issues such as midterm dissolutions of state assemblies, which could necessitate partial elections. Okay, he says that there can be midterm resolutions or dissolutions, meaning if a party loses its majority, it is going to lose the government also. During that time, there can be some challenges, but it can be addressed easily. So, what are the challenges to federalism? Because it is centralized timing concern. PDT Acharya highlights that aligning state assembly terms with the Lok Sabha undermines the autonomous nature of legislative bodies, which is fundamental to India's federal structure. And he also says that historical evidences, like instances like Delhi elections, where voters differentiated between the state and parliamentary elections, dismissing the assumptions that they vote uniformly for the same party. This was given by as opposition to this criticism. Okay, many people say that when you have a simultaneous elections, people are going to look at the central party and they are going to vote against the state parties. Okay, it is going to undermine the credibility of state parties. It is going to undermine the issues which are plaguing the state. Okay, but here there have been historical evidences where in Delhi there were simultaneous elections and the voters were able to distinguish between the state politics and the central politics. Okay, but this is again what you can say, it is an exemption, because not all the Indian electors are as educated as this one. Then, does the bill account for political contingencies? Okay, in terms of scenario of government collapse, Madhavan clarifies that in case of no confidence motions or political splits, midterm elections would still occur, but only for the remaining term. Okay, for example, there is Congress government ruling in Karnataka for 5 years. Okay, down the line, suppose in 2026 there is a split in the Congress term, split in the Congress government or Congress party, and they are going to lose the majority. When you lose the majority, what will be introduced? That is, no confidence motion will be introduced. If the no confidence motion is passed, then the government is going to lose and it is going to dissolve. When there is a dissolution, there is a constitutional mandate that there should be elections held within 6 months. Okay, within 6 months. He clarifies that whenever there is a dissolution, even under the simultaneous elections, even under the fixed term, there will be new elections within the 6 months. But the catch here is the newly formed government can work only for the rest of the term, a remainder of the term. Okay, remainder of the term, that is, if they have been completed already 3 years by 2026, the remainder term will be ending in 2028, so they will only work for 2 more years. Okay, so that simultaneous elections can keep happening without any issues related to this one. Previously, if there is a new government elected, that new government used to work for a period of 5 years. Okay, now the cases have been changed. The critic is P.T. Acharya warns that it is going to erode federal spirit as the bill prioritizes uniformity over autonomy. They also talk about alternative measures. That is, there is German model of constructive vote of no confidence. It was suggested as a potential solution for political instability, but deemed impractical for India due to differing political dynamics. Okay, that construction of vote of no confidence is okay for the German government, but it is not so in terms of Indian political dynamics. We can also have lessons from UK, that is Fixed Term Parliaments Act of 2011, which was repealed in 2022, faced criticism for limiting flexibilities during the crisis. Madhavan argues that India should avoid such rigid frameworks. Okay, so in the conclusion, there are complexities of political reality. Acharya, he emphasizes that political crisis and regional diversity in India make rigid frameworks unsuitable. Okay, so there should be flexibility. The bottom line is you cannot have any rigid laws, that is rigid law with fixed terms, because if you have a rigid law with fixed terms, it is going to end up like UK, where they had to repeal that fixed term Parliament Act. Strengthening the democracy. The proposal must balance cost effectiveness, governance stability, and federal autonomy without diluting democratic principles. Even after this, you are going to bring a simultaneous election. It should make sure that it is not going to sideline governance, it is not going to sideline or undermine the federal autonomy, and it should also be cost effectiveness. Okay, so these are the articles which we wanted to discuss. There was another article about tuberculosis and India's 100-day campaign. Recently, India has launched an intensive 100-day tuberculosis campaign, which is aimed at active screening and early detection of 347 high risk districts. So what is tuberculosis? It is a bacterial infection caused by Mycobacterium tuberculosis, okay, primarily affecting the lungs. Within TB, there are two types: latent TB, active TB. That is, in latent TB, bacteria are inactive, showing no symptoms and are non-contagious but can activate later. Whereas active TB, symptoms are present and the disease can spread to others also. Okay, since it is a contagious disease. Prevalence is 1/4 of the global population has latent TB. That is, bacteria are present but they are inactive. There is a chance that they can become active over time. What are the high risk groups? Individuals with HIV, malnutrition, diabetes, and are those using tobacco have higher susceptibility to TB. Okay, because TB is going to affect individuals with lower immunity or lower nutrition. Then, how does TB spreads? TB bacteria spread through air when an infected person coughs, sneezes, or spits. Inhaling the droplets of contaminated air can lead to infection. You might have seen the picture where someone coughs and the droplets go in the air and someone else breathes them, and it is going to result in TB. So, what are the key features of 100-day campaign? 5 lakh individuals will be screened in the first week using health and wellness centers created for health and wellness centers and 850 mobile testing vans. And the symptoms assessed, that is persistent cough for 15 days, fever, weight loss, appetite loss, breathlessness, chest pain, etc. will be also be tested. Then the target population is, it is targeting mainly 25 crore vulnerable individuals, including family members of TB patients, people with diabetes, HIV or history of TB, and individuals with low body mass index below 18.5 or high risk lifestyle factors. All these will be included in the screening. And the tools included here will be mobile testing and diagnostic camps set up in high risk zones like mining areas and tribal regions and aspirational districts. So it is a very aspirational project. Achievements will be reduction in the missing case. The gap between estimated and detected TB cases has been significantly narrowed from 15 lakh to 2.5 lakh as per the health ministry, and this 100-day campaign is going to reduce that even further. So we already discussed this. The scheme is focusing on high risk groups and regions: students, corporate employees, laborers at brick kilns, mines, construction sites, and workers, and tea gardens are the main one will be focused here. And in terms of high risk areas, there are 347 high risk districts such as 38 tribal regions, 27 mining zones, and 47 aspirational districts. And the states with most largest coverage is Karnataka, Maharashtra, and Madhya Pradesh. Okay, objective is to detect and TB cases early to reduce active screening, addressing high risk populations, etc. etc. So, and it is going to strengthen India's TB elimination efforts. Under the National Tuberculosis Elimination Program, NEP. The initiative reflects India's commitment to eradicating TB through targeted, inclusive method. So these are the articles which I thought of important from prelims and mains and interview perspective. You can make the note of important points which I already explained here. So if you like the initiative, then hit the like button, comment on it, and also share with your friends. With this, I will end the video. Jai Hind.